So we described about the annam in detail and the jalam, jala tattva. It's jala tattva we have completed.
7-11-1. 7-11-1.
7-11-1, yes, okay. Jala tattva has been completed. Or, no, we have done the subject and object. So jala tattva has to be taken, yes. So, here's the importance of the how everything is annam only. Then after annam, even the subject-object differentiation we discussed in annam, and then Bhagavan said, Apaha is more important. Jala tattva from jiva comes. So Apaha, indeed, definitely greater than food. Water is definitely greater than the food. That which in this earth, that which is in the intermediate space, that which is heaven, those which are the mountains, those who are gods, human beings, those which are animals, birds, grass, trees, ferocious animals, worms, flies and creatures, includes ants, it is water that has taken. All these forms, any shape and form, can be done only through Jala tattva or from Jala tattva. It's not through Jala tattva, even though we add water as an element for making anything fluid and semi-fluid, and making the hard matter into softer, to make anything flexible, to make anything softer. Jala tattva is necessary. To make anything soluble, to make anything palatable, to make anything feasible to handle. You see, in this world, we need Jalam and Jala tattva. Jalam is one part, Jala tattva is the principle of the Jalam. So don't think Jalam as the base. Jala tattva, principle of Jalam. Well, Jalam, initially Jalam we can think of in order to do whatever I told now, just now. All these things in order to make ourselves flexible, Jalam is necessary. In a human being, Jala tattva is maximum. The flexibility, to adopt flexibility in us, Jala tattva is that what is more required. Based on that, in principle, Jala tattva is the maximum so that you can take any form and shape. Not physically, may not be, but mentally we can take any form and shape. We are taking so many forms and shapes. An animal or a tree or a plant or any other thing, they are not in a position to take any form and shape in their mind as a human being can. We create lots of forms and shapes. It is through the Jala tattva. Principle of the water principle, Jala tattva, in order to have flexibility, solubility. Dissolution is a very important part in Upanishad and Vedanta. I have discussed about dissolution in the last class to a great extent, when the object has to be dissolved in the subject. If a dissolution doesn't take place, a solution will not be created. for anything. In order to create a solution, a dissolution is necessary. Right? So solution for everything. Solution for even for living. Solution for everything is called the Jala. And then here, Bhagavan says what a principle, Jala, tatwam. Apo vavanat bhuyastasmat yadam srubrishtir nabhavati vyadhiyante prana annam. If there is no water, there is vyadhi. Suvrishti, if there is no suvrishti, if there is no jala, vrishti is not there, drought becomes. When there is drought, there cannot be any annam produced in that. You see. With jalam, only all these things can happen. Any breeding takes place only in jalam. Any brunam lives and grows only in jalam. Medium is jalam. If the jalam is not there, the brunam cannot be. Brunam in the sense, those. Any jivatma to be born. Bruna is that which is in the womb or
fetus.
What's that?
Fetus.
Fetus. No. Yes.
Insect. Orgasms or microorganisms.
Yes. Right. Okay. We understand what is from beginning of that sperm which grows as a cell. In order to grow as a cell, Jala tattva is necessary. Any mosquito to breed, jalam is required. Any womb, it is full of jalam, then only this brunam can be grown in that. Any jiva, in fact even seed to grow as a tree, jalam is definitely necessary. Moisture has to be there, either in the jalam in various forms. Let it be moisture, let it be heat. Some of the seeds you have to boil it and then plant it, then it grows better, faster. There are some seeds, put it in hot water, then plant it, then it grows better. Different forms of jalam, jalam in different forms are necessary for any sustenance, any growth, any creation. So in every stage, jalam is necessary. Is why in our puja, in our day-to-day rituals, let it be any religion, take any form of religion, every religion, they take water during the process of any of those karmas, puja, any auspicious karmas. There has to be jalam. Agni has to be there, jalam has to be there. Even for that fictitious, some of the rituals I don't want to name, because they will look as if I am criticizing some. It is criticizing, no doubt about it, some religion, but I don't want to openly present it. There has to be jalam. Jalam has to be given. When dying also jalam has to be given. Dying. It's not necessary. It's the one who dies by jalam. Still we believe that Ganga. So few drops of water. Even though he cannot swallow it, will put it inside. Jala tattva, what is the principle behind? You are come from the jala, you are going to the jala. Making us conscious about the jala. It is not that he is thirsty, or if you don't give water, his soul will not go away, or his prana will not leave. Nothing like that. He will definitely go. He will not wait for your few drops of water. No. But we have a strong ritual has been made, because then only we will follow it. That is why this ritual has been made, making you conscious. You have come from the Jala, go to the Jala. Jala tatwam is that, see, and so the Jalam is a medium which is above the Annam. Annam cannot be grown without Jala tattva. Flexibility cannot be there without Jala tattva. In us, any growth can be done only through the Jala. Without food, one can. The Maharshi wanted to explain Sanat Kumar, Bhagavan Sanat Kumara wanted to explain the details to the disciple. So once one guru told, I think I have told you this earlier also, told the disciple to go out of food for 15 days. Annam, barring the Annam, Upavasam. No Annam is necessary. No Annam should be taken. So he sustained about 15 days or 20 days or whatever it is, 1 month without Annam he could sustain. But after that he started becoming weak. Then his memory is lost, no, he cannot remember. So when after 1 month Guru said that you chant the Veda mantra, he could not chant. He's weak, cannot remember. Strength is lost, so Annam is not there. Then he said, okay, now you take Annam. So Annam is strength, to prove that, to make him experience it. Annam is strength. Okay, this Annam is strength for the body. But then the other Annams, what I have explained to you, these are all strength of you. Yes. So same way. This Annam itself, let it be your thought, let it be your education, let it be your jnanam, let it be your principle of anything for that matter. If Jala Tattva is not there, it is not possible. Annam cannot be grown without Jalam. Now, so the Guru said, now you understood now? Okay. Next time he said, now you can eat, but don't take water. Annam he could sustain for 1 month. Without Jalam, he could not even stand for a day or two, whatever it is, a few hours, let us say. Without that, it is not possible. So he said, look, which is important? Where is the importance lies? Without which we cannot go at all. That is Jalam. So he was trying to make this student or disciple understand the importance of the Jala Tattva. If this Sharira requires this Jalam in this number of hours, the humanity, the whole universe requires Jala Tattvam constantly. Otherwise, there cannot be any function that is taking place. So, Jala Tattva is very important, because in Jala Tattva only everything progresses. So, Jalam is important. Jala Tattva is important. The Apaha is important. In us also, for everything, Jala Tattva is important. As I told you, in order to be flexible. In our thought, the flexibility has to come. If you are rigid, what we call it as it. If your mind is rigid, what is rigidity? Where there is no moisture. Rigid. When there is rigidity, then it is impossible to be flexible, impossible to mold you to certain situations and circumstances. In order to mold your thoughts into circumstances and situations, Jala Tattva is absolutely necessary, even in the thought form. I know you will not be able to understand this particular sentence, how Jala Tattva is important even in thinking. Because it is, one is the Vyavaharika Jivan, life. The other is a Paramarthika Jivan. So in Vyavaharika Jivan, this is difficult to understand about the principle of Jalam. Jalam we understand. But Jala Tattva, the Tattva's principles, it is very difficult to understand because we look for logical explanations. Vyavaharika, that's why in the Vyavaharika Jivan, these principles are difficult to be understood. For that, one has to go beyond the Vyavahara and then go to the Paramartha. That's called Paramarthikam. That then only you will be in a position to understand. That is why the Brahmacharyam and the Sannyasa Yoga, in such cases where Paramarthika gives more importance than the Vyavahara, he attains the Brahma Tattva, Brahma Jnanam, the right way and easily. Others looking for Vyavaharika Artha, Vyavaharika Jivan, Vyavaharika Upayoga, Upakara. All this, what will happen? In their cases, the meanings beyond the lower consciousness is impossible for them to acquire it. With lower consciousness, you cannot derive the principles of the upper consciousness. In lower consciousness, everything has to be experienced. Unless it is experienced, the lower consciousness cannot execute it. That means you cannot experience it. Experiencing is also a sort of executing it, to understand. So, in lower consciousness only, all these things are possible, where it has to be an imaginary or Vyavaharika Jivan. Everything that and this, everything, Dvaita Siddhantam is Vyavaharika. Vyavaharika Jivan is a Dvaita Siddhantam. And the Advaita Siddhanta is the one which is the Paramarthika Jivan. To derive Advaita Siddhanta is difficult. That is why Adi Shankaracharya has to write the Shankara Bhashyam in a great length in order to make some people understand about the Advaita Siddhantam, and Advaitam is the truth. So, after Adi Shankara, then Madhavacharya and others, they came after Ramanujacharya and Madhavacharya, they came after that and explained about the Dvaita Siddhanta so that the others can really understand the Advaita Siddhanta. Various steps. So it is that difficult. It is not that just by sitting and thinking the Advaitam can come. It's not possible. Even though I explained to you about the blending of the subject and object Advaita Siddhanta, from the lower consciousness, from the Vyavaharika Jivan, from the Vyavaharika level of thinking, even though you think that you have understood, it's not understood. It is not understood so long as you are in the status of the Dvaitam. When you experience it, then only you can really understand it. That's good. That experiencing is possible when you go beyond the lower consciousness level, then only it is possible. So, the tattvas, the principles of the Jala tatwam, in every principle, in order to have the flexibility, the jiva, sustenance. Sustenance means not only the sharira, sustenance is not only the environments, sustenance is not only the annam, sustenance is not only the prana, sustenance is not only the universe. Any sustenance, Jala Tattva is necessary. Is why Jala Tattva holds great importance. Is why in second position Jala Tattva comes, through which the experiencing is possible. If Jala Tattva is not there, experiencing is not possible, because the creation takes place through Jala Tattva. Jala Tattva is that importance. So, Sanat Kumara says, hey, Devrishi, meditate on Jala Tattva. If you meditate on Jala Tattva, he says that you will be, Brahma gets freedom of movement as far as the range of water extends. Wherever the water can go, your freedom of growth will be to that extent. Water can go anywhere. Water can go and penetrate into anything and everything. No? You only soak the door in the water, inside the door there will be water, moisture is there. So you can go when you meditate, when you really understand the principle of the Jala tatwam in the life, in the Prakriti, Jala tattva in the Prakriti, you will be in a position to be in all the corners of the Prakriti, no, in order to identify and scrutinize the Prakriti. Not by external viewing of it, but traveling internally into it can be done through identification of Jala tattva by meditating on Jala tattva. Meditating on Jala tattva, as I told you always, whenever we meditate and think deep, we become that object. We become that thought, what you think. So when you become the Jala tattva, you can imagine how you spread into all the things. So you have to become that, Unless you experience that Jalam, you as the Jala tattva, you will not be able to understand the importance of the Jala tattva. So Bhagavan said again and again that Jala tattva is important than the solids. Maharshi says here in the different ways. We must be able to conceive of the subtler principle behind the earth principle. We must be able to contemplate on the subject principle existing prior to everything that is solid and material in its contents. It means to say that we are now gradually rising from the physical level to the higher level. Okay. That's right. So, which is dealt with the next section. So here Maharshi specifically mentions that it is not possible to experience it in the physical level. You have to rise above the physical level. This particular word in Puranas and many places or many preachers have misinterpreted as that one will not be in a position to identify and acquire things in the physical level, has been interpreted as unless the physique is there, we will not be able to do it. That is not the meaning of it here in Upanishad. The Upanishad, it's not the physique that is required, it's the physical thinking that is what is not. We have to grow beyond. It is not the physique, it is not the sharira that is necessary for the purpose of thinking. It is the thought of the importance of the sharira is that which is obstructing you from rising above it. So you have to grow beyond the in-thought level. You have to grow beyond the physical level of experience. Physical level of experience in the sense it is not the physique, it is not the sharira. Sharirik experiences. Sharirik experiences connected with the indriyas. This again we are going to the base then. Again going to the base principle of it. What is, how the sharira is built and things like that. I don't want to go back. I think we have already explained all this. How the indriyas function, how the mana functions in the Sharira. So, the Sharirik experience in the sense, the physical experience in the sense, you have to go in the basics. The experiencing of through the Sharira, experiencing through the Indriyas. This concept of the experiencing or this experiencing has to be transcended into the psychic, psychological experiencing or beyond psychological experiencing is called the experiencing in the higher consciousness. That is called the apara prakriti. That is para prakriti, the apara prakriti. So we have to experience that prakriti. In order to travel into that prakriti, your shape and form has to be different. In nothingness, you have to have a shape of nothingness. Then only you can experience nothingness. In order to experience the Jalam, one has to be the Jala. One has to become the Jala Tattva, then only the Jala Tattva can be experienced. So the experiencing can be done once you merge with that. You see, small thing, anything that you eat also, the taste buds identifies the taste and informs the mana. Mana gets a layam into that. Meditate. Mana every time meditates on that taste, then realizes and identifies the taste and registers it in order to compare further. Everything is a meditation, you see. Everything is a meditation in a prakritic manner, but we do not realize it. We think meditation is a separate phenomena in our life. Dhyanam is an inherent capacity of each and every indriyas. When you want to listen to something very deep, what do? You close your eyes. When some music is there, no, let me listen. What do you listen? How do you listen? You close your eyes. So if you are seeing, it is interrupting your thoughts. So what is happening actually? The mind is meditating on the sound. When the mind is meditating on the sound, mind doesn't want to see. So the seeing has been blocked. The more and more subtler and subtler. Same way, when somebody tastes something also, let me taste how it is. Close your eyes, close your ears, close everything. Then only you realize the taste better, is it right? What happens? There's a meditation taking place. What are you doing actually? You have grown beyond the physical level. Oh, your mind has grown beyond the physical level and trying to identify the taste. See, the object, we call it as an objective experience, or which is ultimately is a subjective experience, or neither it is a subjective experience nor it is an objective experience. In meditation, what happens? You dissolve the Sharira. You understood now? How do you identify the taste? Is the Sharira identifying the taste? Is it? No, it is not that. Who is identifying the taste? The taste is identified by the mana again. How? He goes into meditation. So each and every second of understanding, each and every individual understanding takes place in you because of this prakritik dhyanam that is taking place in you. It's an inherent capacity of every cell to go into dhyanam. How is it multiplying? Through dhyanam. Cell goes into the dhyanam. Each and everything that is happening in the Sharira goes through the dhyanam. How the heart is beating rhythmically. If its attention is somewhere else, will the rhythm be there proper? No. How many years? Number of years. Rhythmically it beats. How? When a rhythmic, repetitive action takes place, it requires dhyanam. It's not that. Otherwise it's not possible. Everything is a dhyanam, please remember that. Only thing, we look at it as dhyanam because it's not dhyanam, we do not realize them. Everything that is happening through the dhyana, even reading through dhyana, they're all a kind of dhyana, that's all. Because that dhyana is only for the purpose of experiencing it. Experience of reading, experience of talking, experience of listening, experience of seeing, they are all dhyanam only. But they are dhyanam by individual compartmentalized organs connected with the mana. In any of these dhyanam, is there sharira? Physical level of experience. Now, what is physical experience? What is this physical experience? In fact, there is nothing called physical experience. There are all our spiritual experiences, but we identify them as physical. Why? Because those which are experienced by the mana and antakarna, by the indriyas, they are identified as physical experiences. So, what I am trying to tell you is that physical experience doesn't mean connected with the physic. It means vyavaharika dealings. It is vyavaharika. In the lower consciousness, in vyavahara business, where there is a giving and taking takes place. When I am listening to the music, I am doing that dhyanam not for the purpose of the ultimate transcendence of me into the Brahman, but just for my pleasure of some of the indriyas, I am doing that dhyanam. Is why it is known as physical level dhyanam, which is vyavaharika dhyanam. It is meant for your pleasure, which is momentary. So, let me listen to the music. How long will you close your eyes? For a few seconds. Okay. Oh, it's a music. Music is nice. Music is generalized, music is nice. You enjoyed it, derived the pleasure out of it. After you have derived the pleasure out of it, your dhyanam is lost. Your dhyanam is lost. So it is what? Vyavaharika. Physical level experiencing. What is spiritual level experience? Spiritual level experiencing? That which is permanently with you. Nityam and Anityam. That which is dhyanam, which dhyanam is permanently remaining, retaining with you as a characteristics of you, as one with you, is called the dhyanam which is happening in the experience of the higher consciousness or the paramarthikam. Paramartham. Paramartham is not experienced. Is it not? Only vyavahara is experienced. Paramartha is not experienced. The truth is not experienced because the truth is truth. It is not experienced. It is only those other things that which is not the truth is what we experience, so that the mana has got a peculiar way of dealing with it, Mana, after having understood things through untruth, then through an inference he draws what is truth. Right? We all study, we all learn, we all practice, we all behave, we all think. Asatyam, and through an inference we derive the satyam. That should not be done emphasizes me to what should I do. If somebody says you do only this, then immediately he will ask why. You tell him don't do all these things, very quietly listens. Then the why of course may be there. But that through that why that's why I said, through that why he draws an inference and identifies the Paramartha. It's a peculiar way of understanding. That is how we are living. We are living through objective and materialistic emotional experiences. Through that, we understand at the end of life, we understand none of these things were fact. None of these things were necessary for me to truly transcend into the true Brahma Tattvam, Brahma Jnanam. All this what I have done is a waste. Drawing an inference to identify the Satyam through Asatyam. That's why through Advaita Siddhanta, identifying the Dvaitam. Adi Shankara said, too expensive. So many lives you have to take. So many experiences you have to derive. So instead, Bhagavan says, why don't you have develop the quality of faith by Samarpana and Upasana. So you will start understanding what is Paramarthika. Once you understand Paramartha, then the Vyavahara, to understand the Vyavahara, we don't have to go through the experiences. What did I say? Once you're on top of the hill, everything below that can be seen. You don't have to travel all over the places. Not. So many thousands of kilometers can be covered by standing on top of the hill. Do you have to travel? You don't have to travel. Somebody says the whole city can be seen from a point of mountain. Otherwise you have to travel all over. What is Vyavahara? So physical level, you understood what does it mean? So let us not, and they are all very important in the science of the spirituality. These small words which confuses us because we had been experiencing and we are brought up with experiences and we are living for the experiences through physical level experiencing. The understanding of the true physical level experiencing and the spiritual level experiencing have to be understood, really identified and classified. In spiritual level, the experiencer is not there. So even though we call it as experiencing, that experiencing doesn't take place to the mana and sharira as we got. That's why somebody asked, can I see the God? Maharishi's answer, can you see your own eyes? If you can see your own eyes sitting like this, you can see the God. Absolutely right. Yes. You are asking me a question that you are seeing things through a substance and you are wanting to see that substance. The substance through which you are seeing, you want to see that. How is it possible? The sight that you have, can you see? With the eyes, I mean, not the eyes with the eyeballs and the cornea. I'm talking about the sight that you are, that see, what you are able to see. Can you see that? Cannot see that. Because that's a medium which makes you see. That which makes you see, that which makes you experience, how can you experience that? It is the godliness that makes you experience everything. How can you see that? It is the spirituality is that which makes you experience the physical level experiencing. How can you see and experience spirituality? It is a subject that what is experiencing, ultimately coming back to, it is a subject that is experiencing the object through subjective experience. How can you experience the subject? The moment you start experiencing the subject, the experiencer will not be there. You have to understand this principle. This has to be a clear concept, has to be very clear, then only you will be in a position to understand the future chapters of this, and you will be in a position to understand what do you mean by principle, tattvas, principles. They are all great experiences, spiritual experiences. Every transaction, every transcendence in us is a spiritual experience. Everything that is happening, that's why Sarvam Brahmamayam, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman. Everything is an experience of Brahman. Everything is experienced through Brahman. So that experiencing media has to be understood. The day I understand that, my experiencing is no more required, because it's the medium that is required, through which I can always experience at any point of time, anything at any era, at anything can be experienced through that. We don't have to require any qualifications for anything for that matter. Anything can be done. That's why the Tapasvi, Maharshi, Tapasvi, the great Jnani or Devatas, what we call as Devatas, even though the existence of the human form and shape of Devata is not there. Devata is a principle, tatwam. Ishvara tatwam. Yes. Jala tatwa. So, the Jala tatwa has to be understood. In creation, Jala tatwa has great importance because Jala tatwa was necessary, absolutely necessary, in order to have the objective experiencing in the Prakriti that was necessary. For that, a creation was necessary. So through this creation, Jala tatvam has been created, and through the Jala tatva, all the jivas have been created. Annam also has come from the Jala tatvam, and jivas also has come from the Jala tatva. Annam has been provided to the Jisi. Annam has been provided before much before the jivas have come. How the Prakriti has, no? This is called Prakriti Niyama. Before you created something, those what are necessary for its sustenance has already been kept. Infrastructure has been kept absolutely ready. Not like suddenly human is born. Oh, what should I give him to eat? Mud? No. The moment he is born, that what is to be eaten is ready. The moment a bird is born, that what is necessary for a small bird, that is ready. For a big bird, that is ready. What is not ready in this world? All the infrastructure, everything has been kept ready for you to receive it and sustain it. For what? For you to identify. Have you ever thought who made these things ready? And why? Because you are very important. In today's political language, it is VVIP. People are fighting now. VVIP culture. It's inborn in everyone, VVIP culture. You're all thinking that it is my right. Is it not? Who kept all this infrastructure ready? Are you a VVIP or VIP or IP? Or only a P? what I do. Ishvaro Raksha Shambho Mahadeva. So that infrastructure is kept ready. So before Jala Tattva, Annam has come while Jala, even the Jivatmas before it is born, Jala Tattva is the one which has created everything ready. So Jala Tattva is important. So what do we understand from this? Even though we spoke so much about it, we did not conclude it in the sense of you know the practicality of it by now. I am not to explore it too long. We know the practicality, Vyavaharika Sambandha with the Jala Tattva in our life. That in anything and everything this Jala Tattva is necessary. Even to think, to see, if there is no moisture in your eyes, the sight, what you are talking, that what you are seeing, oh, I can see this, I can do this, I can see this, I can... A little moisture, forget about it, in the eye level is not there, your eyes cannot see anything. Small thing. Right? Jala Tattva. See. Nothing can function without Jala Tattva. Nothing can be created, nothing can be eliminated also without Jala Tattva. As I told you, representation of Jalam giving to the dead person or dying person, it also represents that you have come from Jala, you are going back to Jala. It's not making him understand. The one who is giving the Jala, he should understand. This body has come from the Jala Tattva, has to be taken to the Jala Tattva. Then Agni, I have told about this long back, very long back. You have come from Agni Tattva, so he has to be burned. That's why in our Hindu Shastra, which is the supreme in this world, there's no doubt about it. Not as a religion, as Hindu. As again, you see, people have created this tattva belonging to Hindus. I don't know who called it as Hindu tattva. It is tattva, it is a principle of life. We call it as Haindava. No, it's all. But what happens? Agni tattva. You have come from the Agni, where you should go? You should go to the helping, it goes. Whether you put it in Agni or not, it goes to Agni tattva. If you argue on that, yes, it is that. Then what are you doing? Then why do you do this? You are helping the Prakriti, making you conscious that you have come from the Agni Tattva and this body has to go to the Agni Tattva. There is nothing, nothing new to that. So we are practicing the nature with Prakriti. That which Prakriti does it, we help the Prakriti to do it more. Plus, it has got scientific, afterwards people have derived scientific reasons behind it. Somebody dies, it can spread any disease is there. The bacteria can spread those diseases. So those bodies, it is better to burn it so that you are destroying the bacteria. Very scientific process is how all this cremation has come. No cremating has come. So, Jala Tattva, then the Agni Tattva. So Jala Tattva is, so much is the importance of the Jala Tattva. So the solid now, Prithvi, the solid has come only from the Jalam. Any solid has come from the Jalam only. So Prithvi also has come from the Jala Tattva. Sharira has come from the Jala Tattva. Sharira lived in Jala Tattva. Sharira has come from Jala Tattva. What has not come from Jala Tattva? Every seed, every sperm, every bhrunam, every fetus, every jiva, every tree, plant, everything has come from the Jala. Without Jala, nothing could be grown. Nothing could be created, nothing could be grown without Jala Tattva. So everything based on the Jala Tattva. So you become that Tattva of the Jala, who is a creator. We call it as a creator. Who is a creator of that Jala Tattva. So what happens? In the meditation, You have to transform yourself as the Jala tatwam of the Jivas, as I told you, in the Prakriti, and travel everywhere, fluid. Jala tattva spread everywhere, so that you will find all the creations are from you. You transcend yourself as Jala Tattvam. So what happens? Everything that is existing in the Prakriti is from you. You means what? Not this you. That you, that who has transcended into Jala Tattva. This experiencing has to come. That's not possible with the lower conscious thinking. With logical and with Dvaita Siddhanta, trying to understand it and then implement it. It's not possible. What are we doing? We always try to understand it and then implement it. Some people say that understand it. How can you? That which is Paramartha is Paramartha. Is Paramarthika, which cannot be understood. Why we have to understand? Why do we have to understand? Because we don't know, is it not? Because we don't know about something, we have to understand something, right? So the one who doesn't know something, he is not Paramartha, he is Vyavaharika. Breeze doesn't want to know anything. Light doesn't want to know anything. I don't have any other example to give you, so I have to give you only those. Mind has to learn, because mind doesn't know many things. Atma need not to learn, because Atma knows everything. Atma need not to understand. Mana has to understand. Whoever does not know, he has to understand. The one who is a doctorate in physics need not to understand the theory and principles of the lower BSc graduate students' physics. So come that, is it not? He is teacher already, teach. So who has to understand? But this man has to understand that. He need not to understand, because he knows. That means whatever you know, you don't have to understand. After knowing everything, what becomes? Nothing is to be understood. So you have come to the status of Paramartha. There is nothing more to understand. It's the status of Paramartha. If there is some stage where you have left with to understand something, you are in the lower consciousness level, Vyavaharika level. Is what Maharshi said, A. Devarashi. All the solids have come from Jala Tattva. It is Jala Tattva which has created the solids. By reducing the quantity of the Jalam in the atmosphere for a particular area, the solids have appeared. How the solid appear? When the Jala Tattva decreases, solid has appeared. It is there in the Prakriti. It's not that Jala has created the solid. No, again. Creation means that which is, it is there inherent in that. That means the Prithvi Tattva is diluted into the Jala Tattva. So the quantity of the Jalam, when it is reduced in a particular area, it has become solid. Prithvi Tattva. Okay. So whenever the Jala Tattva is reduced, it becomes solid. So in order to have flexibility, Jala Tattva is necessary. So in principle, what we should understand, our mind, our thought, our principles, our understanding, our practices, everything has to be like Jala Tattva. which doesn't have any stable abode. He's like a sannyasi. Ganga started from Gangotri and flowed all the places and joined the ocean. It doesn't have a stable, it doesn't stay stable at place. Why? Because Jala Tattva is not stable. It is flexible. Yes. For any flex, because then only the progress, then only the travel can take place. Then only the progress can take place. Travel can take place. During that, lots of experiences can be taking place. So in our jiva, in our jivan, in our thought, in the principles of thoughts, lots of flexibility is necessary. We have to flow. In order to flow, we cannot be rigid. We should not be solid. If we are solid, Prithvi Tattva, like Prithvi Tattva, we will become stable at one location. This Prithvi Tattva in us, again, this is the one principle of understanding. Second principle of understanding is that gradually the Prithvi Tattva in us, as I told you, we are going from sthula to sukshmata. So we have to reduce to sukshmata. Reduce in the sense not by eliminating anyone. We have to become so much capable that we have to put them into my capsule. I as a capsule should contain everything. I as a small capsule should contain everything. It's not necessary to have the sthulata in me. So all the sthulata in me have to be brought down to the sukshmata, because all experiencing through the sthulata has been completed. Why sthulata has been created? Maybe a question. If that was necessary for us to bring the sukshmata, sthulata into sukshmata, why first of all you created the sthulata? We can ask. The question is not. The sukshmata had a desire to understand himself. Purusha wanted to understand himself at a point of time. That projected the Prakriti from him. It's an automatic process, it is not an intentional process. When you want to see yourself, you go to the mirror. You want to see yourself, is it not? Many times. Most of the times a day. Earlier mirror was available only in some places. Now all over the house mirror has come. Even with that we are not happy. We provided mirrors in the car. We provided mirrors in the, even the cart, even in the horse carriage and all that. There are mirrors provided. With that also, when we were not satisfied, we started carrying mirrors with us. Suppose the mirror there is not very true, readily available. Without mirror, life becomes very mostly left out. Without seeing me, I cannot live. True? It is absolutely right. This was the thought in the sukshma sharira of me. So I wanted to project myself. So what happened? So from that principle of nothingness, projected to Prakriti, to Agni Tattva, Jala Tattva, Prithvi Tattva, and in Prithvi Tattva, Annam, Vayu, this. After that what happened? I experienced all experiences through, by projecting each and every small part of this, of me, each and every small part of me, I expanded it, so that each and every pixel of that expanded area could experience the subjective experience of his own experience. Actually, it's not objective experience. Each one could gather his own experience, and after having gathered all the experiences by each individual cells, each individual pixel, it was brought together, again going towards the sukshmata, ultimately found the sukshmata which was there earlier. It's the same as even before projection and after assembly of it. There was no difference. That means it was all there even before, it is all there even now. So they are slowly shrunk into one into another and dissolved into each other, not eliminating. So the Prithvi Tattva, which is a solid in us, the Prithvi Tattva in us has to be diluted and brought to Jala Tattva. Prithvi Tattva has to be brought into Jala Tattva. Prithvi Tattva is what in us? Prithvi Tattva is Sharirik experiencing, is Prithvi Tattva. Sharira is Prithvi. Sharirik experiencing is Prithvi Tattva. After having done the Sharirik, we say no, enough. इतना उम्र हो गया, अभी भी बचपना है. We say normal, common language. No? What does it mean? That you have experienced so much, even now have you not learned it? Is a question being asked. इतना उम्र तो इतना हो गया, बचपना अभी भी है, क्या बात है? Have you not learned it from that experience so far? So many years passed, so many experiences you have passed through, still you are immatured there. You are still there in the Prithvi Tattva, stuck. Not a yogi's qualification. It's not a symptom of the yogi. The yogi will fast as one can. He understands the principles of one tattva, and that Prithvi Tattva will get diluted into Jala Tattva. Even though Prithvi Tattva is invisible externally, but it is inherent in Jala Tattva. Same way, one into the other gets diluted and dissolved. So this dissolution is absolutely necessary. You understand? Dissolution is necessary. Transcendence is absolutely necessary. This is called transcendence. Transcendence of Prithvi Tattva into Jala Tattva. Yes. People call transcendental meditation. Every meditation is meant for transcendence. You don't have to qualify it as transcendental meditation. Because you go to dentist, you have to be in meditating only. There's no way to talk, so you have to close your eyes and close your mouth and open your mouth and sit. This dental meditation is a meditation, the proper meditation only. Transcendence. You have to transform, transcend in each and every form. Your prakriti, your shari. Why am I emphasizing? You must be thinking, why am I emphasizing on the same thing again and again and again and again? It is something like asking why the blacksmith is keeping on hammering on the same metal and at the same position. A blacksmith in an anvil, He keeps on hammering at the same position, at the same material, same position. It has to be brought into a shape and form. It has to be brought to a shape and form. Same way we have to be brought into shape and form is by keeping on repeating this, so that you should be conscious that your sthula sharira has to be diluted, the prithvi tattva has to be diluted into the jala tattva, transcendence has to be necessary. That means, what do you mean by diluting into jala tattva? Experiencing through the prithvi tattva, experiencing through the sharira has to come to an end. That's all. This is called physical level understanding. When sharirik, vyavaharik understanding is closed, then the paramarthik understanding begins. Unless you dilute your prithvi tattva into the jala tattva, the purna jala tattva cannot be identified. For you to meditate on the purna jala tattva as purna jala tattva to purna jala tattva, the dilution of the purna prithvi tattva has to take place. Purnamadam, purnam idam. In order to, apurnata has to be, otherwise what happened? This jala tattva has got apurnata, because you still have the prithvi tattva projected from you. So the apurna is there. In order to have the purnata, prithvi tattva has to be diluted into the jala tattva. Your prithvi tattva has to be diluted into your jala, let me call it your, here, for this purpose, or at this instance and incidents, let me call it as your. Because everything has to be understood based on the principle of the circumstance with which we are dealing with and are explaining to. So when you take Upanishadic meanings separately, using it somewhere else, it will not fit in. So this has to be understood very clearly. You have to understand, in order to understand things, first of all you understand the vak, vani, the word. We all understand from the word. Yes. After the word we have understood, then we start understanding from the meaning of the word. After understanding from the meaning of the word, we understand from where this meaning has been derived. Then we start understanding beyond the meaning. When we start understanding beyond the meaning, that means the dilution of the prithvi tattva has taken place into the jala tattva. First you go to the temple in order to tell your complaints. Wow. Gradually, after so many years of experiencing, he has become old. One day when he was praying, what to pray? All these years I had been praying for so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, my children, my this, my that, my grandchildren. Time has come for me to go. Old enough. Hey Bhagwan. Enough is enough. Now then only he realized, all these days he prayed, nothing happened or something happened. Many things happened, many things did not happen. Old age came, then he prayed. While praying he realized, oh, what What should I? I am old, I am supposed to go now. They have to take care of themselves. So he prays, Hey Bhagavan, take me away peacefully. His requirements have come down. So long the experiencing of Prithvi Tattva was very wide. From that experiencing, his experiencing of Prithvi Tattva has come to the level of his self. Are you getting it? I'm trying to make you understand. How you have to dissolve your experiencing, the physical experiencing or the vyavaharika experiencing has to be reduced like this. We are reducing it actually. But only thing, we don't realize it. At last what happens? He says, nahi, kuch nahi chahiye. What do you want? Kuch nahi chahiye. Peacefully, I want to die. And no, I'm just telling you example. What happened? It has come to that level. What happened? All this experience, what he has asked for, he says, no, don't tell me all that. वो सब बीत गया. What happened? No more interest in that because he has already experienced it. Alright? We have to come to that saturation point of experiencing. For every experience there is a saturation point, is it not? For every highest pleasure that you have earmarked has a saturation point. Whatever pleasure you take, whichever pleasure you name, you'll come off fed up of that. After some time, fed up of that. No, that's not what I want. Initially wanted to eat so many things, went to many big restaurants, where that restaurant, Japanese and Korean and a combination of what is that? Kojerian, that is Korean and Japanese, and then Chinese and Japanese. In the name of Chinese, there is a Korean inside. In the name of all are okay, fine. Let me experience. All experienced. Ate. Stomach spoiled. Liver spoiled. Everything spoiled. Then what do you want now at last? घर में जाके थोड़ा सा चावल दही और दाल होने से मन शांत हो जाएगा. सब खत्म. I'm telling you small examples. You see what happened? Your experiencing of in the wide spectrum of that is concluded and said that no, it is not necessary. It's only an infatuation towards eating and food. What do you want? Rice and this is what we make in this method. What happened? Just telling an example to make you understand how you have to bring down the Prithvi Tattva into Jala Tattva. So the wide spectrum of experiencing has come down to this experiencing is enough. Because this is what I like. After experiencing all that, because every pleasure has got a saturation point. So everything has got a saturation point. Every Tattva has got a saturation point. Beyond that it cannot be experienced. It's not possible. How much food you will experience till you can have the taste in your tongue. The day the taste is lost, all experiencing finished. No. As far as the food is concerned. Same way, in everything, also in our life also, all the experience of the Prithvi Tattva like this, am I clear? Has to be brought. Somebody is asked, Itna Umar ho gaya, abhi bhi you want to enjoy all those, khana, tabiyat ke liye acha nahi hai. The Sharira will not take it. You can't have, as you had used to be eating in the young days about the spices and things like that. In the old age, our digestive system will not accept it. Hey, don't do that. People say that. What does it mean? Experiencing has to come to a saturation point. It cannot be an unending point. So, wide spectrum of experiencing of the Prithvi Tattva, I am coming to that one. Prithvi Tattva has to be gradually diluted. Where are the experiences? Experiences are there in you. Oh, I have experienced that, I have experienced that, I have experienced that. Nothing is for me. Why did you experience? Just to prove nothing is for me. Inference, drawing inference from the Vyavaharika to Paramarthika. Untruth to the truth. So, why did you experience all this? Just to prove the truth that rice and the E is good enough. Paramarthika. Yeah. Same way, when this saturation has to come, because you cannot be keeping on entertaining your indriyas. No. It has to come. That's called the yogyata of the sadhu, qualification of the saint. So this yogyata for the sadhu, for the sannyasi, for a yogi. That's why it is yogyata and yogi. For a yogi it is necessary. We are all yogis only, ultimate. So this wide spectrum of experiencing has to be converged. After experiencing, this has to be capsuled. Gradually going to the Jala tattva from where it has come. Where will it go? All that goes to from where it has come. It's not going here and there. All that goes to where it has come from. So we have to start understanding this principle, because we are going gradually to this kind of explanations where we do not have any materialistic experiencing realities in front of us. We will have to go into the Paramarthika situation where you don't try to understand that. See, it has to come to that. That's why I am preparing you towards this, or Devrishi, Maharshi is preparing us towards that. So the Prithvi Tattva has to. So when Maharshi, Tapasvi, Maharshi, great saint, Sanat Kumara told Devrishi Narada, meditate on Jala Tattva means that Prithvi Tattva experiencing has to be diluted into Jala Tattva, so you know all about experiences of Prithvi Tattva. What's that? A yogi who is identified the Jala Tattva, he knows everything about Prithvi Tattva. That's why I told you, when you become the Jala Tattva, you can penetrate anywhere and everywhere. That means everything about Prithvi Tattva is understood by merging into Jala Tattva. You don't have to go separately to experience it in the Prithvi Tattva, like standing on top of the mountain. It's called the Prithvi Tattva. After that, then Bhagavan asked, as usual, hey Bhagavan, is there something subtler than this? Hey Prabhu, or is it the conclusion of it? Devrishi, with folded hands, request Maharshi, Bhagavan Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara explains that yes, Devrishi, definitely there is something subtler than Jala Tattva. What is that? He said it is known as Agni Tattva. Teja, Agni Tattva is subtler than this. Now it is 7:11. Now it is 7:11. Tejo vavadbhyo bhuyastadva etadvayumaga etadvayuma grihyāgāshamabhita pati tada hyurnishom chadi nitapati varshishyati va iti teja eva tatpurvam दर्शयित्वाधापः सृजते तदेतद् दूतभिश्च तिरश्चीभिश्च विद्युद् बिगः गदश्च शरन्ति तस्मादख्यु विन्द्योदते स्थलयति वर्षिष्यति वा इति तेज एव तत्पूर्वम् ईशत्वाधापः सृजते ते च उपासस्वेति तेजो ववाद्भ्यूभूयस्तत्वा हे देवर्षि agni tatwa, fire is indeed greater than the water. Agni tatwa is definitely greater than the Jala tatwa. When we start Jala tatwa, we have to complete it, so we will take it in the next class. Today otherwise it will be left half. Om Shanti.